back in 2003. I lived alone in a small place, just a few towns over from where I live currently. I don't remember which day it was, but I had a few days off from work, and I remember the night this happened. It was pouring outside. I had been home all day watching TV and hanging out on the front porch, relaxing. At maybe 11 o'clock, well past sunset, I was sitting on the porch, watching the rain come down, when I heard ringing from inside my house. I headed in and saw the home phone was going off. I didn't recognize the number, and the screen said, "Unknown ID." So, I didn't answer it. And yes, I did have a cell phone, but it wasn't anything nice. It was just an old flip phone. Did nothing but call and text. So if I was at home, I'd only use the home phone, and my cell would be lying around somewhere by my car keys. I let the call ring through and headed back out to the porch. Heavy rain on quiet nights always had a way of relaxing me. Nobody else was outside, and even most of the houses hardly had any lights on. It felt like I was the only one still awake. But strangely, after getting back from the phone and 5 minutes of sitting out there, my mood very suddenly shifted. I started to feel sort of uneasy, looking around more and being more creeped out by the darkness rather than calm. It was really weird. Not something I think I'd ever felt before, at least not so suddenly and without reason. I thought the feeling would pass. I wanted it to, but it didn't. If anything, the feeling got worse, like this dark gut feeling looming over the neighborhood, and after 25 minutes, I did not want to be out there at all anymore. I headed in and sat on the couch instead, turning on the TV, trying to chill out. But then, the phone started ringing again. I got right back up and looked at the caller. It was the same. Unknown ID. I picked up the phone, but before clicking the answer button, I changed my mind and set it back down. It was too late to be answering a random call like that. Whoever it was calling had to realize at some point that they had the wrong house. I sat back on the couch and watched TV for an hour. During that time, the rain outside turned into more of a storm, thunder cracking in the distance, and the flooded streets got even worse. It was past 12 p.m. The house was pitch dark, with just the TV lighting up the room, and my eyes were getting tired, when suddenly, heavy knocks hit the front door. I stood up from the couch and stared at the door for a second. With the near heart attack it gave me, no way in hell I was going to answer that. But the person kept knocking, and I was curious enough to walk up to get a look at who was out there. The glass on the peephole was fogged over from the heavy rain, but I could still tell that it was a man, and he was wearing all black, with a hood covering his head, and I'm pretty sure a mask covering his face as well. He looked extremely suspicious, and he was leaning close to the door, like he was trying to listen to the inside of my house. To me, there was almost no doubt that he was up to something. I walked quietly over to the home phone. I picked it up and turned the volume all the way down so he wouldn't be able to hear me. At this point, I was still thinking that the man probably wouldn't escalate this into anything, at least not right away. So, when I dialed 911, it was mainly just to let them know that some suspicious guy was walking around the neighborhood, knocking on doors. But right when I clicked call, the guy outside hit the door again. Not like a knock, though. It sounded like a tool slamming against the door. I looked over and he hit it again, and I saw the door literally shift out of the frame, maybe an inch or two. I very quickly realized he was going to get in, and I only had seconds to decide what to do. I put the phone back and hid in the bathroom, right in the hallway. Unfortunately, my home phone was wired to the wall, so I couldn't just take it into hiding with me. 15 seconds later, I heard the door get forced open. The sound of the rain was instantly so much louder, and for a whole minute, I really didn't hear anything else. I didn't hear him walk inside or make any sounds. It was just heavy rain and thunder. A part of me was very tempted to quickly go back to the phone, but I knew something still wasn't right, and I'm glad I listened to my gut, because after that minute, I then started to hear his boots move down the hallway. He moved slowly, not in a rush, almost like he didn't think anyone knew he was there. It was unnerving, listening to this guy calmly walk through each of the rooms downstairs, until I heard him walk back toward the front door. I heard the front door close, and for an instant, a flood of relief came over me that he had left. But then, I heard him take a few more steps. Realizing he was still inside, he walked back down the hallway, right past the bathroom room I was hiding in, and then moved up the staircase to where the bedrooms were. It was carpet upstairs, so I could only hear the occasional creak of the floors. I couldn't listen to his footsteps like I was before, and for about 17 minutes, I waited there. I didn't hear anything. The man never came back downstairs. I had no idea what the hell he was doing, but every time I wanted to go to the phone, I would freeze, worried that, with my luck, he'd come right back down while I was in the hallway, or that he could even be standing right at the bottom of the stairs, right now. But then, I could hear some chatter through the rain outside of my house, and then a voice call out, "Police department." I ran out and saw 2 officers out on my front porch. They were doing a welfare check after getting my call and not getting anything back. I quickly explained that someone was upstairs, and they went up. And supposedly, the man had no idea police were there. When they got up to the main bedroom, the officers found him laying on the bed, just relaxing, and he even had set a knife and a gun down on the dresser by the bed, like he was making himself at home. They took him out, obviously, and tried to question him, because I think it was pretty clear he wasn't just there to rob me. He had some weird, likely harmful intentions, but he wouldn't cooperate, and they could only get him for armed breaking and entering. I never even got an answer as to whether it was a deliberate attack on me, or if I was just an unlucky victim. It's been over 2 decades now without another incident. I assume it was the latter, but it doesn't take away from how terrifying it all was. Had I answered one of the calls, or answered the door, or just been found by him, there is no saying how that night would have ended.